Hello, dear friends. Here we are once again for the Just Breathe sharing, where I share about living from the heart in connection and in surrender to our source wisdom, to our expanded self, to our knowingness. And in sequence to my last sharing about the honor that was given to my mother for having been the owner of Linda School and passed on this legacy. And I also received um, an honoring love and gratitude. And these flowers were something that was offered to me that I am really grateful for. Because they are not just flowers, obviously. They are love in the form of flowers. Love and gratitude in the form of flowers, which are such a blessing of livelihood. I'd like to share a little bit more about coming into harmony with any given relationship, job situation before leaving it and moving on to a new opportunity. And so going back to when I started teaching English and when at the age of 23, at that time it was very challenging to me to become an English teacher, though I realized very soon that it was something I did easily and I had that gift. But it was something that it took time for me to blend into and to get out of conflict with. So there was this duality inside of me, knowing that I was doing a good job, but on the other hand, there was something missing that I couldn't quite tap into. Then over the years, I grew and learned and expanded and realized that I needed to do whatever was unique to me, to bring that into the classroom and to really choose which age group I enjoyed teaching, what I enjoyed doing, and follow that and be able to do that. And that's always something that's been wonderful, to be working with my mother as a boss. Not because she was my mother, but because not only with me, she was always very aware that we do have to enjoy what we're doing. So I learned, expanded, and navigated through that. And I stopped teaching English a year and a half ago. So more than a year and a half ago. A year and a half into the end of my job. So then I became only the creative director. And I came to a point of complete harmony with English teaching. There was no more conflict. And that's when I was able to let it go, to release it with gratitude and joy for all of the richness of the experiences and the growth lived. And now then, when I received that inner calling saying, now it's time, and when I presented my resignation, I knew that I was ready for this leap of faith into a life without a job, a timetable, and also the comfort of a monthly salary, but knowing that that meant nothing at this point because I was ready for something completely different. And so when I chose to make this move, or when this move presented itself as it's time from my heart, it was when there was complete harmony. No more conflict. I had completed the experience. And if I had left years ago when I was still in some sort of conflict with English teaching and, really finding it hard and all that, I would have missed the opportunity of realizing that everything in my reality is my energy and is serving my evolution. And by being humble enough to realize that whatever was being reflected, if it brought up conflict, it was something I myself needed to resolve within myself. If I had not done that, I would just have moved on to another experience which would have brought up the same conflicts, eventually even more. Because the same thing happens even when we leave a relationship, or we leave our hometown or a town or a house or whatever. If we're leaving from a point of conflict, of sort of running away from that situation, unless we really have to because there is extreme physical abuse or something like that, and there are those cases obviously where the cut has to be immediate and within the conflict, but I'm not talking about those cases. I'm talking about the fact that if we can allow ourselves to compassionately remain the observer and to work with what is being given to us, with whatever is challenging us, and if we can allow ourselves to embrace whatever is there to be acknowledged and loved, we can come to a point of non-duality, of balance. So where there is no longer defensiveness, where there is no longer a need to keep fear in place in order to avoid future repetitions of that same cycle of conflict. When all of that is at peace, and then we move on to a new experience. What we are then providing for ourselves is something coming from that peace that we are in. So it can only provide, it can only provide something that is really in tune with us, with our heart, with our soul, that brings us extreme joy and love and gratitude and abundance in all senses. So trusting that your heart will give you the cue when you are ready and not before. Trusting that if you are still in that situation, if it's still producing conflict, then it's still time to accept, to let go, to realize what's going on inside of you. And if you can travel through those troubled waters and reach the calm, still lake within, where there is harmony, then your life will really, really expand into a whole new context. This has happened to me not only with my job, it's also happened in relationships context. It's happened to me in relationship to my reality. For instance, with my, I've already shared the story of all of the bank credits that I had to pay, and only when I came into complete peace with that, there was no conflict whatsoever. There was gratitude that I had the money available to pay them off, one breath at a time over the years. Then the opportunity came, big opportunity that allowed me to just settle the rest of the debt that was there. So it's a question of choice, and I've shared this over and over again. Fight against or cooperate with. So this is why when I felt now it's time to leave, it wasn't from a point of conflict. It was from, now I'm ready for more freedom. Now I am ready for more abundance. Now I am ready to receive even more. Because if we, extricate ourselves from a certain situation that is somehow causing pain and conflict, and are contracted in that fear, in that judgment, we are not open to receive more. We are just living the same film. So if you are going through something similar, well, I hope this sharing might have inspired you to receive even more of whatever it is that is there for you from the love that you are, transformed into whatever it is that you need in your reality. And remember, as I say, just breathe. I really mean that so profoundly. Allowing the breath to bring us into stillness, to bring us into space of clarity, to create that safe space where we can look at anything within ourselves from a point of total compassion, and therefore be in complete trust. Bless you, dear friends, and see you next time. Thank you.